Right. So I was discussing about all SAP standard rules, whatever the rules we discussed on the top. The four kinds of rules: initiator rule, agent rule, they are all function module based. Function module based means in ABAP programming they have already written the ready-made programs for them, and they will be recognizing who is an approver, what notification should be sent in notification, etc., etc. So that rules have been predefined already. Now, what is our purpose in the step 2 of this MSMP configuration, MSMP workflow configuration? So when we move to step 2, yeah. So in this step, what is our duty? So if you feel like the following rules are not sufficient for your configuration of MSMP workflow, you need to customize first the rules, and those customized rules have to be listed down, added here. So you may create a custom rules anywhere using your ABAP programming language or your BRF plus application, or using function modules based, etc., etc. But once you create them outside of this environment, you have to come back and click on add, and then enter the details like what is the rule ID, rule description, rule type, what type of rule you created, where did you create it in BRF plus or ABAP, etc., and then rule kind, which rule you have created. So this is our duty here in this step. So to customize rules, this step is mandatory. If you decide to use standard rules, this step can be skipped. And define the initiator rule in this step. So if you go to the bottom of the screen, you have process initiator. So to your MSMP workflow, this one, access request workflow, which initiator will be initiating it? So as of now, I have, let us imagine in your standard system you find only default one. This is the one you find. So that is there available already. GRAC initiator, default initiator rule. And you can also see below notification rule is also available. So notification rule determines what notification. Okay. So you have to open this if you want to understand what is the logic behind that rules and all those things. You need to understand the ABAP programming so that you can open these rules and check what are those rules are actually written, how are they written actually. Okay. So it is not required for us to such a deep level to understand what is the programming and all those things. So this default initiator and the default notification rule as of now I defined for temporarily. So if requirement comes, we go for customizing it, and we'll remove this default ones and we'll define the custom ones. Okay. Right. So clear about the second step. What is our duty in the second step? Maintain rules. Any doubts regarding this? We discussed about rule types and we discussed about rule kinds. And as of now, I am not creating any custom ones. In future, we get the necessity. So I want to take you to the necessity, where exactly the necessity comes. Then we can come back and again create the rules here.
So the most of the business requirement, the SAP provided rules set is fine, or something like we have to go for a custom.
Yes, almost 80 to 90% of the requirement can be satisfied with the standard ones.
Okay.
Very rarely when the client is like very complex, they have complex configuration, only then, like I told you. So this is the path we follow generally as per this diagram. I told there will be manager, training, role owner, security. This is what we are anticipating. This could be the paths. If you feel like if the client says there should be another stage, like extra, like they want one more business approval stage. Okay, so this business approval part is not decided by SAP, right?
Yeah, correct. So for example, after the manager, instead
Ah,
of training, my HR manager has to approve.
right.
That is the path I have right now. So how can, is that need a custom rule, or it can be
We have to define the
like SAP?
we have to define the custom rule, because of that is not available here for us. Like this training, you said HR approval is required, correct?
Yeah, after manager, HR has to approve, something like that.
Okay, now
Or
here, yes. So I'll take your requirement now. Suppose HR approval. Now, where is this information is available? How does the system identify who is that person? HR. Again, a question comes here.
right, probably from LDAP it can be pulled, right?
Yeah,
Manager information, HR information.
exactly. So something, there should be some data where some data source where the data has to be pulled from.
Right.
Okay. So for this purpose, we need to create, because there is no something as like, if you see here in this approvers part, you can see something called as this one, other approvers agent.
Right.
So here they have taken this as a manager agent. In other approvers part, you can place them as HR guys.
Okay. Got it.
So they have also provided you some extra things where you can use for other things like the custom requirement.
Okay.
Even if that is not, if satisfying your requirement, then we go for customizing of the rules, complete rules. So I'll show you some customization. When we come to step 5, we get a requirement for customization. So again, we'll come back to step 2 and define that custom rules here.
Okay. Yeah.
Yeah. Anything else before moving to third step now? First step we have seen, second step we have seen. I am not doing anything in second step. I am skipping almost, because just we explained you the steps and I'm skipping. Next, third one, agents, maintain agents. Yeah, Manjula.
Sridhar, in the second step, you have taken only the SAP default rule IDs, right?
I did not take anything. This is a database. Available rules I have shown you, that's it. I did not take anything as of now.
Okay, those are SAP predefined only those you are using as of now, right?
In future, I may use them, I'm saying.
Okay. Okay.
This is a database list of rules available. So that I will use them in future, like in step 5 when I define the path. So this is a path meaning.
Okay.
So in each path, who is the agent? What is the notification rule? I will use these rules which are in there in step 2.
Okay, Sridhar, fine.
So the question is, if you
So,
want,
Sridhar,
yeah, go ahead.
in second step, as of now, we haven't done anything, right?
Yes, we didn't do
I
anything.
mean, we haven't.
We didn't do anything else.
If we at all I want to select a rule ID,
Okay.
uh, how how will we proceed? I mean,
Select,
yours,
selecting
this
in
one is
this.
default, right?
What
The
do you mean?
first one which is selected.
Yeah, yeah. What do you mean by
I think if I
selecting?
for configuring something in step 2, we'll have to select the rule ID and then proceed ahead to the third step, right?
No, no. We did not select here actually. This is a single individual databases
By
actually.
the
So we are selecting only the first one, in the first step only, this rule set, this workflow. So remaining steps will be under this workflow. We are defining all of them. What will be the rules under this workflow? What will be the agents under this workflow? What will be the variables under this workflow? So only first step will decide what is that thing.
Okay, so first step we'll have to decide, and inside it everything else will come.
Yes,
Okay.
inside the first step only we are seeing everything else now here. For example, let me show you the, for example, risk approver. This is workflow, right? Let me go to step 2. Here, it changes. The list of rules will change accordingly. See here,
There's no manager.
there is no manager, there is no requester, there is no alternate approver. You have SOD risk maintenance approver, because what type of workflow is this we selected here? Risk approver. So accordingly, the rules will appear for that.
Okay. So this is all STP standard.
SAP standard, yes. So if I go for role approver and go next step, there again role approver agent, role creator agent, related to role only, all will be, rules will be related to role only.
So for every workflow, there are set of rules and
Dedicated,
agents and everything which
exactly.
is predefined.
Every workflow,
Okay.
there are dedicated rules, dedicated agents, dedicated, and remaining all steps are dedicated to that workflow.
So then what do we have to do?
What we have to do? Wait.
As in,
The actual festival is in the front of you, so it will come. So then you will say it is enough now. So we're not doing anything now actually. So when you come to step 5, there comes the problem. Okay, wait for that. Okay, so I'm selecting the first workflow and then moving on to second step. Then third step now, maintain agents. So we discussed yesterday agent rule. Agent rule determines what?
Approver.
Correct. Approver. So here we have different types of agents now. Different types of approvers. Who are they? Like manager, role alternate approver, current approver. Manager is two types. One is manager approval, one is manager notification. Yesterday we discussed about, I think Pranjali has asked a question, to whom the notification will be sent. So there is a dedicated agent for notification only. So manager will be identified just for notification in this case, whereas in this case manager is identified for approval. See the purpose here. Manager for approval, manager for notification. Similarly, for everything you have alternate role approval, alternate approver, approval, current approvers is notification. Requester is notification only. We don't go for requester as approvals. Just requester has to be notified. So this is the agent we define at the last step when you go to, so for example, security is your last stage. Okay. In security, when security is approved, so there is a notification should be sent to requester, right? So how it will identify the who is a requester? Based on this agent rule, GRAC requester. Clear? Role owner, security, SPM owner. So SAP has already anticipated, they know about, we have already using 5.3 has been used for many years. They know who are the approvers in every stage. So they have already ready-madely created everything like role owner, security, SPM owner, user, request, mitigation, monitor, etc. etc. Whichever comes to our necessity, they are already created here. So that's what I'm saying. If you want to use almost standard with this just standard only, you can. If your configuration is very simple, so then you can use all of them standard and continue your configuration. Only when your configuration is complex, then only the problem comes there. We have to customize most of them. And let me discuss about this agents, more about this agents. What is this agent? So purpose, I told you, agent purpose is we identify the agent approver for approval or notification. Clear with this point now, everyone? First, agent purpose. Why we are identifying a person? For what purpose we are identifying him? For approval or for just notification? So that is what we are telling. Agent purpose is two types. Clear everyone with this concept?
yes.
Yeah.
Right. Next, coming to agent types, these are the agent types available. Like how the agent is identified based on, so yesterday somebody has given an answer, right? In the security stage here, I told how the security person is identified. Please check the users who are assigned to security user group or assigned to security roles. Correct?
Right.
So that
Yeah.
agent is available here. So that is a type based on PFCG role, based on PFCG user group, or you can directly tell the system, if you know the user ID, there is only one user as approver, you can directly tell to system he is the approver, directly mapped users. But remaining all the three we are not telling directly, indirectly we are saying whichever user is assigned with PFCG role, whichever user is assigned with the PFCG user group, and whichever user is assigned with the API rules. So what is an API rule? I'll discuss that. So for example, if I'm selecting a PFCG roles, then system is asking me what is the role name. So if I give the role name here, let me take like example. I'm creating Z security. So security approver. Agent purpose approval. Now based on PFCG role, now select the security role here. The role which you select should be security role. So suppose if there are, imagine 10 people who are assigned with that security role, all the 10 people will be identified as approvers in this particular agent rule, agent ID. So we need the roles actually. So these are the available roles in our system. So you should have a role, that security role, and based on that role if you select, suppose this is your security role. So whoever user is assigned with this role is considered as security guy. So he is determined now who is the security. We are giving instructions to system now. If you go with PFCG user group, system will ask you what is the group, user group name. So if you have security user group, select that. Save it. Okay. So this is the descriptions I have written here. Directly mapped users means directly saying to system who is the approver by mentioning his user ID or name. So let me show you the first one, directly mapped. So it is asking for user ID now. Here you need to mention the user ID. Suppose let us say so what I did here is I am creating a separate group ID called as security and I'm saving it here. Add. So if you want to add another one under this one, you can add, or you can select this one. So who is under this group now? Security group ID here. There is a user called SAP user. Just I am giving a name to it as security. Under that I can put multiple people if needed. So give the approver group ID and then user ID. Clear? This is directly we are saying to system who is an approver. That is the first one. Directly saying to system who is the approver by mentioning his user ID or name. So if you go for PFCG roles, whoever is assigned to a particular role, PFCG user groups, whoever belongs to a particular user group. And now coming to the last one, whoever is defined in access control owners link under setup tab. So do you remember, all of you, I guess everyone remembers this tab, access control owners link under setup. Whoever is the owner, like mitigation approver, monitor in the ARA, firefighter ID owner and controller in EAM, then role owner in BRM, etc., etc. All of them we define under access control owners link. So it will pick up from there. Whoever is defined as that particular my home, setup. So under setup, access control owners. Right. So these are the owners. So it will come and check in this table. In this table, I have only firefighter ID owner as FFID owner 1. So I have Anil here as role owner. So it will go and check whether in this table that person is defined as role owner or not. Clear, everyone? Now let me show you the standard ones. What are the type of that standard rules what we have here? So standard agents are of API rules type. All of them are API rules. Means the system by default goes and checks in the access control owners table. In that table, whoever is defined as a person, that person will be picked up. SAP standard, it knows where to check now according to that. Either it checks in the local database, who is a manager, who is the other approver, who is the security, who is this guy, that guy. Everything it checks in that GRC local system. Who is a role owner, who is a security, who is a SPM owner. Mitigation monitor also is there in that access control owner table. So everything is picked up from there. If you don't want to pick up from there, then you define your own now, like the one which I said now. So first, so this is all about like you have to draw the diagram first. The workflow diagram in this fashion. Access form, request type, new account selected. Manager is XYZ. In ECC, role 1 is required. In BW, role 2 is required. So it will check initiator rule, where to go first. In initiator rule, if request type is equal to new path, then it has to go to new. If it is delete, go to path 2. So path 1, because user selected new account, it goes to path 1. In path 1, who is the manager? So according to agent rule of manager, it checks in the form who is the manager and goes to the XYZ user as manager. And then when it goes to BRM, role owner, it checks in the BRM because it is API rules again. Because these are all standard rules which we are using now. So based on the standard rule, system knows where to check. So it checks in the BRM who is the role owner, and then it comes to security. In security also it goes and checks according to access control owners table. Under access control owners table you have the link even for security guy also. Under access control owners we have a category called as security. This one, security lead, firefighter role controller, mitigation approver, mitigation monitor, role owner, everybody is here. So they will pick it up from here. Clear, everyone? So silence is well understood or not understood anything?
Yeah. Yeah, fine. We are fine.
Yeah.
Can you maximize the screen actually? Whatever you have. No, that's Word document.
Word document. This one.
So here also we can increase the percentage.
Here also we can. Pardon?
The word you can increase the size. So we see the font size.
Font size you are talking about. I don't think because it is expanding, right? It expands, it goes out of the page.
Sridhar, you can just zoom it below.
Yeah, zoom it.
Where exactly you're talking about zooming?
The 100%.
Right side bottom corner.
bottom right. So there. Yeah. But anyway, it's okay. You can able to see that.
Let's go.
Oh, now okay. Yeah, now okay. Now okay.
Right.
Can you explain one more time results of this diagram?
This diagram. So this diagram is like an overall picture it gives you, like what all are needed actually. So this is the access form filled by the user, correct? User is filling, like request type is new account, and the manager is XYZ, and he needs access in ECC role 1 and BW role 2. So as soon as the access form is submitted, because it is access request approval, right? This is access request form. So access request form means it will go and check in MSMP access request approval workflow. In that approval workflow, initiator rule we define. So in the initiator rule, we define logic like this. If request type is equal to new, then go to path 1. If request type is equal to delete, then go to path 2. So based on the initiator rule, it decides what path to be selected. So it selects the path 1. In the path 1, it goes to first stage is manager. So how the system will identify who is the manager? We have to write an agent rule. We have to define in this stage the SAP standard agent rule we can define. So SAP standard agent rule goes and checks in the access form who is the manager, and then it will be sent to the form to XYZ user. And then once he approves the request, here we define a role owner agent rule bottom. According to role owner agent rule, role owner is picked up from BRM. So it goes and checks who is the role owner in BRM, and it moves the form to that respective person.
See, one question here, Sridhar.
Yeah.
So you mentioned the agent rule has to be, taken care in the manager stage as well as BRM here also.
Every stage.
So
yes.
the same stage, every stage, correct? So in that same stage, we also have a notification rule, right? So
yes.
the XYZ.
Two things have to be there. For every stage, you need to define two things. One is agent rule, one is notification rule.
Okay, yeah, that's what.
So take this as a agent rule on the top, XYZ. Here, this is a notification rule. This is a role owner agent, and beta is a notification rule. This is notification rule, and this is agent rule. So every stage.
Manager reject the request, there will be another notification rule.
Yeah, that we need to take now. I told you the definition itself, right? In the based on the action taken by the user, you need to define different mail templates will go.
Okay.
So yesterday when I'm defining the notification rule, I told you determines what notification to be sent based on the action taken by the approver. Approve, reject, on hold. He can take 3 actions. For approve, different mail has to go. For rejection, a different mail has to go. And for on hold also different mail has to go. And RNs also will get differentiated. When it is approved, there is no requester or user will come into picture. But when it is rejected, user has to get notified. The people who are getting notified also differs based on the action taken.
Okay, got it. I mean, each stage we have a agent rule as well as notification rule,
right?
And which got initiated by initiator rule.
Yes, exactly.
First stage and creation.
Yeah, that will define. That we'll see in the step number 5 here. So when we go to step number 5, there where we define the paths and all those things, there we can see that. Just blank. What happened? Disconnected. So I am saying like in every stage we have to define one agent rule, one notification rule. So these step 2, step 3 is discussing about those agents and those rules basically.
Okay.
We are not yet defining stages. We did not define 8 stages. Stages will come here in step number 5. So when you go to step number 5, these rules have to be ready, right? First,
Right.
your agents have to be ready, notifications have to be ready, then only you can go and define a stage.
Right. Got it.
That is why we are
Step by
discussing
step.
rules, agents and variables first.
Okay.
Okay, clear everyone?
So all these three, 2, 3, and 4 are input for the maintain for the fifth one.
Exactly.
Kind of.
So we have to
Right.
spend the maximum time in step number 5. Because all
Right.
these
So
diagrams, whatever I have drawn so far, the stages, rules defining, linking with the stages, everything we do in the step number 5.
okay.
We use the available rules, we use available agents, we use available variables and templates and define this configuration under maintain parts.
Okay.
Right. So in the third step, what you have to concentrate is rule types. In interview, if they ask you how many types of rules are there, sorry, not rule types, agent types I'm talking about, third one. 4 types of agents: directly mapped users, PFCG roles, PFCG user groups and GRC API rules. And the definitions of them, 4 types of definitions. And agent purpose is 2, approval and notification. So these are the 2 questions they can ask you in the third step. In the second step, rule types and rule kinds is a question. In the third step, agent types and agent purpose is a questions. Okay.
So that looks like the key thing is like, we should be knowing all the available SAP provided agent and everything. So
Yeah.
that will help us to.
Yes.
Right.
If you are aware of them, then you can use them appropriately.
Yeah, 90% of the problem can be taken
Yes.
care of at least.
Yep. So moving on to third step, fourth step, which is called as variables and templates. So variables and templates is something like template is nothing but the mail template. I have been saying in the document, so the notification has to be different, correct?
Right.
It will different notification goes to different people based on the action taken. So SAP has again minimized your task. When access request is approved, what is the template that should be gone? Documentation. This is the template. When access request is closed, what is the template? When access request is escalated, what is the template? When access request is rejected, what is the template? When access request is submitted, what is the template? So already everything has been set up here by SAP.
Okay.
So, and the mail format is also a standard format given by SAP. If you want to customize that format, the format mail content, then we need to customize that mail content. So if you don't want to customize the mail content, then you can go ahead with these templates, whatever the templates are available here standard wise.
Templates we understood. What is variable? Could you please define?
Okay. Like let me draft a mail now. Suppose let us say this is your access request approved. Okay. And this is a template I'm writing for access request approved. access request. This is a mail I'm writing. So here, this is the mail which goes, for example, these are 2 lines which goes to the in the mail. Here number, access request number is a variable. Submitted by requester is a variable. So will it be same in every mail or it has to change in every mail?
Yeah, it has to change actually, right? So
It
each
has to
request.
change. It has to change. So when you submit request number 1, the mail in every mail, the number should be access request number 1, submitted by some user A, is approved in manager stage and now is pending in role owner stage. This is the mail should go to role owner. Suppose if access request number 2, then the number gets 2 here and approved requester will be a different person. So in the mail, we have to define which are the variables. You have to identify them. So if you see these standard layouts, you can see here. These are the variables under this particular. For example, access request approved. Under access request approver, these are the variables available. Approved by request approver, first name, last name, link for approval rejection, path, which path ID is selected, provisioning, request to provisioning details. These are the variables which will vary in every mail. Request number, requester full name, request type, sender, stage, submission. So these all will these are all will be used in your mail content, mail template. So according to the value, that value will be changed in the mail format. Variable. It varies for different mails and different people. It varies. The names gets varied.
Okay. So it will pick up from the request, it will pick up this value, right?
Exactly. From the request, access form request, it picks up the value. Who is the
Got it.
requester? What is the request number? That is a
Okay.
variable.
So we have to choose the variable accordingly, what we need.
Yes. In the mail template, you need to tell to system which is a variable.
Okay. Got it.
Clear, Manjula?
Yes, Shruti. Thank you.
Right. So I'll show you customization later. So I'm not going with again customization here. How to customize the mail template. And this is a transaction we use SC61 to customize the mail templates. So generally recommendation by SAP is do not customize any of the standard templates. So create a new template, copy from the existing template and then customize in that. Just like what we do in SU22, we copy into SU24 in security, and then the relation between T-code and authorization objects, we customize it later. Do not disturb the standard setup, standard templates and variables. Instead, you can copy them, and in the copy, then you can customize there in the copy. Okay? Clear
Yeah.
about this fourth step? So I did not do anything here also. So in the second, third, fourth step, we just explained the theory and we understood what is the template meaning, variable meaning, and in rules, rule kinds, rule types, agent, agent type, and agent purpose. Now variables, what is a variable, what is a template? Now the actual thing comes which is called as a maintain paths. So maintain paths. So by default, you will see only one path when you actually install SAP freshly. That path is called as GRC default path, which contains the 3 stages here, like manager, role owner, and security. This is the only path will be available. Let me do the adjustments accordingly. Okay, because these are the other people created. I don't want to disturb them because this is an online system. Somebody else has created these paths and stages. Let us not disturb them. We'll create our own ones. So in the real time, actually what I'm saying is you find only one path which is called as GRAC underscore default path, and that has already stages also. GRC manager stage, role owner stage, security stage. So if your company has only one path, then this you can also use the standard path also. If your client has having only one path, then you can go with the standard setup of this path only.
I have
Otherwise,
2 paths actually.
so 2
Like,
paths means you have to go for customization. Definitely, you have to customize and create a new path.
Yeah, like if the user selecting the non-production system
Huh.
and then production system, like user one request form. So according to the users, which system they are selecting,
Correct.
we need to go to the approval accordingly, like that.
Okay. Can you
So,
tell me? So you said now this is a question for all of you now. Based on his question, the data given by him. He said for production a different path, non-production a different path. Correct?
right. So the approval is different for the production and non-production. So
Okay.
user
Whatever.
is,
So let us
yeah,
let me draw the
different path.
let me draw the diagram so that you, now I'll come to understand how better you understood the subject.
Okay.
So there is path 1. Forget about what is the content of the path. It contains multiple stages. So path 2. So inside we are not aware of, but let me draw. Now what is the you said when in the access form, user is filling the access form.
Right.
While filling the access form, so you said he will select the system name, correct?
The list of system will be displayed. So
Okay.
in that,
Anyhow, he will be selecting the request type first,
right.
and then he will select the system.
Right. Request type non-production, production, something you will choose, right? So from
Yeah.
there it will be.
Okay. Now, can you tell me anyone? So this is a new account, for example. User is selecting new account,
Okay.
and the user has selected production system.
Right.
Then it should go to path 1.
Right.
If user selects non-production, then it should go to path 2. Correct?
Mm-hmm.
Right. This is your
Right.
requirement. Now, how can we achieve this? Which rule will control that? And where do you, what should you define?
I don't know which rules, I mean, list of rules available by default. It is there or um,
Depending on the connector,
Pardon?
depending on the connector,
Depending on the connector. No, I am saying rules, right? We have 4 kinds of rules available for us. Which rule will be used here to control, to
that
deviate
is
path accordingly?
that will be initiator rule.
Definitely initiator rule, because the definition of initiator rule is
yes,
determines path, correct?
Yeah, initiator rule is the first one, which will determine which path it has to go. That's right.
Exactly. So initiator rule will determine which path to be followed. Okay?
Right.
Clear
Yeah.
everyone? Now, what will be the content of this initiator rule? What will be the logic you write under initiator rule?
Sir, we can use the connectors, right?
Tell me the
I mean,
complete thing.
uh, if
If
prod is equal to the name of the connector which is the name given for the prod system.
your connector name
If
is
connector 1 is equal to so and so,
okay, if your connector name is PROD, production system,
then choose part 1.
See, connector group should be prod, and
okay,
then connector group non-prod, something. We can group the connectors.
yeah,
True, yeah, even better.
that is also can be done. Yes, connector group is equal to prod, and one more condition is if connector group,
Is non-prod, cut to
so now it is non-prod. Now this will be linked up with this you write
Path 1.
path 1. So this is what you are writing the logic here.
Yeah.
And if it is selecting an initiator rule, if connector group is equal to non-production, so such way you have to write the initiator rule now. Getting my point now? So you have to understand the requirement first. So based on the requirement, which attribute has to be chosen. In my earlier diagram, I have chosen an attribute called as request type here. Remember? If request type is equal to new account, then go to new user creation path. If request type is equal to delete account, then go to delete user path. Here the attribute is request type. Whereas in this case, the attribute should be connector group or connector. So this attribute we have to use under initiator rule to define the rule. Clear everyone? And that initiator rule we will define in our MSMP. So in the MSMP step number 2, I told you here, initiator, right? So this will remove this standard one and we'll replace this one, this initiator one. This one. We'll give it a name and that will be included here. So to first of all to select here, how many I am able to see here? 2, right? Only 2. Suppose let us say this is our name is Jet Bench Initiator because our client is Bench. This initiator name is Bench Initiator. So first of all what you have to do is you need to go and add that Bench Initiator in the list here. What is the rule ID, rule description, what rule type you have created, and then rule kind. Save it. Then it will be visible in this list. Then you can select that Bench Initiator here. Clear everyone?
yes.
Right. So I'll stop it here because we'll start the paths creation fresh tomorrow. It will take more than 1.5 hours or 2 hours to complete these paths. We have a lot of things to be discussed here. So once we are done with the paths concept, then we have to go for mapping of them. That is where we come across BRF plus application also. In step number 6, we need necessity comes for us to use BRF plus application.
That's a diverting the route, maintain route mapping. Like,
No. Here actually you are only just creating paths, correct?
Right.
Then you have to map them like this. I said mapping. This mapping is done, right? This linking.
Correct.
With what you are linking? With initiator rule you are linking, correct?
Yeah.
That linking is done in the route mapping. Here.
Okay. Okay.
We are just creating the paths in step number 5. Then we link with initiator rule. The initiator rule will be linked up with the paths like this in the route mapping. Okay. Right then. So before closing the session, any doubts for today's class, entire class?
Sridhar, in maintain rules, if you are creating a custom rule which you have shown path 1, path 2, how do we define that if it is going to path 1 and path 2? You are just mentioning the what is the rule ID and what is that, right?
So first I'm saying you have to create a rule first in BRF plus. Okay.
Okay.
Somewhere outside you create.
Okay, somewhere outside.
Okay. That you have to bring in here, give it a name, and then add it here. That name you have to add it. Whatever the name you gave there, that rule ID, that description you have to mention here.
Okay. Okay.
So you will see that how to create a BRF plus, and we'll maintain here how to maintain it. Okay, right then. Yeah.
So
Go ahead.
where can we see the body of the existing rules, and what does it comprise of?
Existing rules.
Huh?
You're talking about this one. Say step number 2.
Yeah, I mean any rule. I mean, what does it comprise of? It will have a body, right? Any ABAP program or
Exactly.
something.
Yeah. So
So where can
I am not sure actually where we can see that. You need to talk to an ABAP guy.
No, the function model T code is there, right? SC, that can be, you can see that actually. Yeah.
Pardon?
Yeah, from there you can go. SM, yeah, correct. That is SM37, I think.
Which
Go and give,
which T code?
check SM37.
SM37 is
no,
for background.
Background job, one minute, one, yeah.
Actually, SC37.
C38 is for ABAP program.
Yeah. 37.
But I will.
But you cannot change there actually. What are you going to do?
Okay, I'll let you know, Pranjali, because I am also not sure where exactly they do check it.
See, SC37, go to SC37
Yeah, SC37.
and give the function model name and give display or,
37 is it?
yeah, SE37.
But it will only execute it, right? It will not give what is actually there in that particular.
No, you can see that. SC37, there is a display option. You can see that actually.
SC37.
Copy paste.
Let me check whether they are existing or not first of all.
There are so many function models actually. Yeah, GRAC ready maintain.
I can you have
CUA,
GRAC
yeah,
MSMP root no role owner. This is a routing rule.
click display, then we can see.
This is a program.
Yeah, I mean, I wanted to see that.
You have programming knowledge?
I have basic programming knowledge.
Okay. Fine then. So check it in the offline. No problem. Any other issue doubts regarding the topic?
So right now I am stuck in this workflow stage only, Sridhar, in my project.
Okay.
So I have eight or nine workflows actually.
Mm-hmm.
I have not migrated the workflows from old 5.3 to 10.1. We are going to create scratch.
Okay.
So because of the structurally a lot of changes in 5.3 and 10.1, right? So that's why. So the best practices guide says go for the newly created workflow kind of stuff.
Yeah.
So
fine. You'll be
if
comfortable
the guys,
you'll be comfortable by tomorrow.
Okay. Yeah. After that only I need to start actually. I just started reading this thing only.
Okay.
Let's see. Yeah.
Okay. Right then. See you guys tomorrow, same time. Thank you.
Thank you.
Yep.